Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's me, Tommy, aka T-Rex, and today I'm bringing you another video of what's been going on this week in music, except for the fact that I have missed quite a bit of time here. As you probably know if you've been following this series, I have not uploaded since August 22nd. It is currently September 26th, so that's over a month. And I really got to apologize to you guys. I've just been on a very busy work schedule, working a lot of hours. I just haven't had the time to upload a video or even listen to enough music to really make one of these videos. Unfortunately, this video in and of itself isn't going to have a whole lot of music in it that I have actually personally listened to myself either. But since it's been so long, I just had the time and I felt like I should do a recap of kind of the important things that I feel like I have missed since the last time I uploaded over a month ago. So in this video, I'm going to be recapping everything that I have missed since the last time I uploaded, except unlike a normal week-to-week type of video, because these are supposed to be weekly, it won't have as many things in it. I'm going to cut down some of the things that I think are not as important, some of the singles that aren't as important, some of the albums that didn't really stand out to me as being ones that I wanted to listen to as much, and we're just going to go more focused on the ones that I really plan on listening to and checking out more in detail. So without further ado, let's just hop right into the singles. We have Inhale and Always Forever by Bryson Tiller. I believe I listened to Inhale by Bryson Tiller here a few days ago, and I did enjoy it. I haven't had a chance to listen to Always Forever yet, but I do plan on doing so pretty soon, as I do typically enjoy to some varying degree the music that Bryson Tiller puts out. Next, we have Hit Different by SZA with the Neptunes, Pharrell Williams, and Ty Dolla $ign. I do believe I listened to this when it first came out, probably only the one time. I remember enjoying it. I don't really remember it all that well, but I do remember that I enjoyed the song, and then it was something that I wanted to talk to you guys about and share with you guys. And the next song is Pop Like This by YBN Nahmir and Yo Gotti, and this is just a little dinger on the side, a little trap dinger. There's nothing too special about it. It didn't really wow me, but it was good enough for me to include it in here and say, hey, might want to check this one out if you like this type of music. And next we have Strange Times by the Gorillaz featuring Robert Smith. I did check this one out for a little bit, hoping that it would interest me as much as the previous song they released in the series that was featuring Schoolboy Q, but this one didn't quite do it for me as much. I might go back and try to listen to it a few more times and see if I enjoy it, but this was one so far that has definitely missed my current jams playlist. And next we have Ring by T.I. featuring Young Thug, and as you guys know, I'm a sucker for pretty much anything with Young Thug on it, so I definitely checked this one out. It was okay. It wasn't the best thing. It didn't blow me away, but it also didn't disappoint, and I think you should check this one out if you like either of these artists or that type of music. Next up, we have Found You by Ludacris featuring Chance the Rapper. I haven't had a proper opportunity to check this one out and fully digest it, although I did press play just to get a feel for the type of vibe it was giving off, and it seemed like it was going to be enjoyable. I'll definitely check this one out, and let me know if you like this one, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it somewhere down the line in the future. And next we have Bad Habits by Usher, which I did listen to and I did really enjoy. It hit me in the feels just like the old Usher of the days of yore, or whatever you want to call it, used to hit as well back when I was in junior high. And I gotta say, it was enjoyable. I'm not really a connoisseur of this genre, of the R&B genre of Usher's music, but I found it rather enjoyable. Next we have Holy by Justin Bieber and Chance the Rapper, which is kind of just a soft, lovey-dovey, kind of floaty, heavenly, light, warm vibes kind of song. Both these artists do their thing on it, and it's enjoyable. It's not like something that really gets me excited to listen to, but it's nice for a little bit of background music. And then we have Dance Like No One's Watching by Sway Lee, which features a decent beat, and Sway Lee using his typical great voice to make a track entertaining enough that I can recommend it to you guys. And after that, we have Out on Bail by YG, which I did really enjoy. Put this one right into my current jams playlist. I just really enjoyed the beat and YG's flow. I've only listened to it once so far, but it instantly stuck out to me as something that I wanted to be hearing more and more in the future. And lastly, in the singles here, we have Franchise by Travis Scott featuring Young Thug and MIA. I'm a big fan of Travis Scott. I'm a big fan of Young Thug. I've enjoyed everything I've heard from MIA. This one did kind of disappoint me. Travis Scott, Young Thug, they do have some good moments on this thing. The beat isn't bad. I feel like they could have done a lot more with it. MIA here, though, just kind of feels a little bit out of place. I don't really know how to say it. it's not that she's bad. I think she's a fine artist, but it just felt a little bit out of place for me. The mixture of these three artists was a little bit weird, especially with this beat that I feel like they could have done a lot more to make it a lot more enjoyable. But hopefully this is not a sign of where Travis Scott's music is going in the future, and hopefully the next album that he releases is going to be on par with the likes of Astroworld, Rodeo, and even Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight. Alright, and next up we have 10 albums that I want to mention to you guys. 9 of these albums I have not had a chance to listen to yet, but I do plan on listening to them to some extent or the other in the near future here. But one of these albums I have listened to, and I'll mention it at the end, and I'll give a short kind of synopsis review on my feelings on that album. As always, guys, if you guys have listened to any of these albums that I haven't listened to, please let me know in the comments down below, and please let me know what you think about them. Give me a rating, give me your opinions, give me your thoughts, your feelings, and let me know what you thought about any of these albums that I haven't listened to yet. Alright, first up we have We Are Chaos by Marilyn Manson. Again, I'm not much of a connoisseur of Manson's music, or even that type of genre, but it was something that definitely caught my eye, and I said, you know what, I do want to check this out at some point in the future. Next up, we have Virgo World by Lil Tecca. To be honest, I haven't listened to that much of Lil Tecca's music. I do, of course, know the song Ransom and the song Somebody that he did along with Internet Money, but I don't know that much about his music, but I do enjoy what I've heard from him. So this is an album that I do have some interest in, and I do plan on checking out. Next up, we have the self-titled Alicia by Alicia Keys. Again, obviously, I know who Alicia Keys is. Obviously, I've heard a lot of her music, and I do enjoy it. It's not necessarily the genre that I typically go for. She's not necessarily the artist that I listen to all the time, but it is an album that has definitely caught my eye just by the name alone, and I do plan on checking out. Then we have Only for Dolphins by Action Bronson. I remember when Action Bronson was first coming out and kind of blowing up as one of the bigger names in sort of the more underground side of hip-hop and rap, and he always entertained me. I liked a lot of his features. I haven't really vibed with too many of his projects that I've heard, and I haven't heard them all, but Action Bronson is a big enough name in my own mind and in my own sphere that I definitely plan on checking this album out. And next we have Hellboy by Lil Peep. Again, this is an artist I haven't listened to that much, but I've seen a lot of people talking about this artist and this album, and it's something that I do plan on checking out here pretty soon. And next up we have Shore by Fleet Foxes. This is an album that I do plan on checking out. Fleet Foxes, from everything that I've heard from them, has been very enjoyable, very good vibes, very chill, and just kind of warm and cozy, especially for the season of fall that we're entering into and winter coming soon as well. They seem to put off the type of vibes that I want to listen to during that time of year. So I'll definitely be saving this album for a rainy day that I can just sit back and relax and listen to some Fleet Foxes. And then we have Floor Seats 2 by A$AP Ferg. I'm a pretty big A$AP Ferg fan. I haven't listened to all of his stuff, okay, forgive me, but I do enjoy A$AP Ferg every time I hear him. So this is definitely an album that is heavily on my radar, and I do plan on checking out. And then we have Tickets to My Downfall by Machine Gun Kelly. Now, I have never been a Machine Gun Kelly fan. Every time I've heard him rapping, it's instantly turned me off. I'm not going to lie to you. It's never been my style of music. However, a friend told me that he was coming out with this new song that was a more of a punk rock kind of song, and he played it for me, and I was like, that actually is kind of good. And from what I've seen from this album, I've pressed play on a few songs, and it seems to keep that same sort of vibe and style throughout the album. I'm actually kind of excited to listen to this thing. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And lastly, of the albums that I have not yet listened to but do want to check out soon, we have Nectar by Joji. I really like Joji a lot. He's probably my favorite artist that has been mentioned in these albums so far. And by that, of course, you could probably assume that this is the album that I'm most looking forward to listening to here in the very near future. Again, guys, if any of these albums that I have mentioned are good or bad, if you check them out and you have any sort of opinion on them, please let me know in the comments down below. All right, and the last album that we are going to be talking about today is Detroit 2 by Big Sean. Now, I've been following Big Sean since the early days of his career. I do remember listening to the original Detroit when it first came out, I believe as a mixtape on DatPiff, and it was a mixtape that I really enjoyed. It was probably my favorite project for a very long time, and I listened to it a lot. It had a lot of good songs on it, and it made me really excited for the rest of Big Sean's career. However, there was some albums that Big Sean dropped that I didn't vibe with that much. There were some that I did really enjoy, and all throughout his career there have been some really great songs and some kind of lower, not as good or enjoyable songs. Some duds, if you will. But all that being said, I was still excited when I saw that Big Sean was dropping a new album, especially when I saw that it was titled Detroit 2, and that made me really excited to check out this album, and I did. And this is the only album that I can actually review and give you guys a legit opinion on, so let me go ahead and do that. Now, this album, I would say, is pretty good. It's pretty enjoyable all the way throughout. It has some downfalls, and it has some especially high moments, but the thing that I would say about this album as a criticism to Big Sean is that I feel like he is kind of carried by features throughout the album. You have features from Nipsey Hussle, Post Malone, Ty Dolla $ign and Jhené Aiko, Anderson .Paak, Young Thug and Hit Boy, Travis Scott, Lil Wayne, and then you have a Friday Night Cypher, which just has a ton of names on it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it just makes me question if Big Sean felt confident enough to put together an album that solely rode on his own performance. That being said, while I do feel that this album is carried kind of in a way by the features, I still think this album is pretty good all the way throughout. For me, the standouts here are definitely Wolves, which is the one featuring Post Malone, Respect It featuring Young Thug, Lithuania featuring Travis Scott, and Dawn Life featuring Lil Wayne. While those are my favorite tracks, again, this kind of reiterates why I feel that this album was sort of carried by features, because all of my favorite tracks are partially my favorite tracks because of the features that are on them. Another problem that I do have with this album is that personally I am a big fan of albums that seem to have a theme and sort of a narrative story to them. And I've only listened to this a couple times, so maybe it'll take more listens to really feel that, but I have not picked up on any sort of narrative or story or theme throughout this album. It just feels more like a collection of songs than a real piece of art that is put together to be a collection of things that add to something bigger than each song as an individual piece, if that makes any sense. That sounded really wordy. That being said, though, a lot of these songs I actually do really enjoy. There are some duds for me on here, although not enough to really mention. However, I did see a lot of people getting hyped for the song Friday Night Cypher because it had so many features and it was such a long track. But honestly, I just feel like I've heard better Cypher tracks, especially One Train. But this Cypher track in particular, it just doesn't interest me that much. It gets boring after about the third or fourth minute for me, and I kind of start to lose interest, even though I know that I can be waiting for Eminem's verse at the end, which is pretty good, even coming from someone who's not a big Eminem fan. Anyways, guys, I can't give you a full breakdown on my thoughts on the album, partially because I don't feel like there's much of a theme here. I will say, though, I do enjoy most of these songs. There are a couple of misses, but in a 21-song track list, enjoying most of the songs is definitely not a bad thing. I think this is a good album from Big Sean. If I had to give it a score, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10 and recommend it to anybody who is a fan of Big Sean or the style of hip-hop that he puts out or any of the features that he has on this album. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. If you don't know already, I do stream on Twitch, so check me out there. If you want, I'll leave a link in the description down below. I'll try and be more consistent with releasing these videos for you guys. I promise. I really promise. I don't want to have to remember and write down and think about this many tracks and this many albums going forward in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.